I
Um,
ask you a question before you get
Please,
started?
yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Go right ahead.
do your website, I have to apologize, I haven't looked at it yet, but does the company host your personal web page or do you have another site outside of?
I have an outside source. I use
Okay.
Curator is who I have. So
Who?
Curator,
Curator. Okay, very good. And so my next question is, do you use funnels?
there are funnels inside my Curator. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And that's why I kind of use them. They have like some funnels that they advertise to. And so when they do some automatic marketing for me and they actually market to certain criteria people inside
Yes.
my database doing different things. So yes, that's a yeah.
Fascinating. Thank you so much for helping me with that.
Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah. So was anybody, I know there's still some people coming in. Was anybody at the Tom Ferry event besides Jessica Fitzu? All right. So do you guys know who Tom Ferry is? Tom Ferry is for those who are brand new, Tom Ferry is a pretty amazing coach, and I would absolutely go on Spotify and I would watch and listen every day on what him and Jason and everyone do. So a lot of the ideas and stuff that we've been teaching the last 2 weeks in regards how to get listings, they actually came from Tom Ferry, Jared James, people that I work with all the time. So that you can just ask Jessica Fitzu because it probably sounded like it was me on the stage, but not maybe not as humorous though. So it was fun. All right, so there are again we have this is all the Tom Ferry slides. We actually got them yesterday, so a lot of the different things that we talked about, the listing stuff was pretty cool. I think that the only thing I kind of want to show on this one was this that we've been talking about that I really like his slide because this actually was the funnels and stuff right here that you just asked me about. Oh, get some more people coming in. But yeah, there's different funnels of where to who and when do you want to like market and stuff. So let me find that one guy on Tom Ferry. I think it's Tom's slides. But I thought it was, nope, that's not her. I want this one. That's Jason's. That AI stuff blew my mind. And do, 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 do. Because he talked about just making sure we're doing income producing activities. And I should have had that queued up here, but I'll find it in just a moment since we're going that way. And it was this one. I really like this because we really feel, that yesterday I shared this with, my assistant that it's like, when did you dip in to do the work? And we always talk about being busy and so search more, do more research, check emails. A lot of you guys might be new and we've got so much training and I appreciate you guys being here, but we have so much training and so much to do that I feel like I'm always just checking my emails and now every few months you should go in there and unsubscribe to things that you don't want. So you don't have to look at it again and again and again and again. So I unsubscribed to several different things this morning. I thought the thing that I kind of learned and understood here is that there was some talks and people given that the expired listings are, very true because they're coming on the market a lot more and people are handling them different or just they're just coming. There's just way more that are coming on the market. So we should probably spend a little bit more time. I know we've got Jessica in the house, so I'll give her some kudos here that this postcard that right here, this is the postcard that we've been doing just sold postcards and Dan and the company, if you guys aren't aware of it, does pay half of your postcard and stuff. And you can buy, I don't know what it was, buy 50 and he covers the other 50 just because he thinks it's very important. But this is a new one that's and that company, our company, they'll actually get all the addresses and send those over to them, which is great. But I'm going to ask Jessica to send me when I buy and sell some properties. Now I'm going to do something different. I'm going to have her send me a file of the nearest 50 to 100 people around my new listing and my new sold property, because then I want to do this scan here. Do you think that this would open up? Did you hear about your neighbor? I'd say about 99% of the people are going to scan that and want to know what their neighbor's up to. And basically that takes you to a landing page which is kind of cool. So it talks about this is what your neighbor did. They sold their house. They got over asking price. And then at the very end, there's hey, do you want more information? So then it can get you in. So that would be nice. I've tried using QR codes and stuff, which they seem to work. I got 2 listings. I got an offer this morning that we got on um, a just sold postcard that he called me from, that just sold postcard, and we actually just got into contract this morning. So they do work, but I think that this would probably be a little bit more intriguing to people. About everybody always wants to know what their neighbor is. So I love this one, and I've heard about this one. I have not done it yet, but now I'm going to do it, and Jessica is going to take care of me when it comes to my my not labels, but just, she can give me the CVS file, then I can at CVC, was that what it is? CVC something file, right? And then I can take that and then go put that into whatever postcard that you want to, utilize to, because I think, what's the postcard company we're using? The company uses, the Century 20 Select. Yeah, Shannon does the postcards, but you guys know who it is, but I can't think of it offhand, but we
Express
can.
Talks.
Oh, there we go. That's it. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. So that is what we do, and then you can just do your own. So I'm going to experiment with this and see kind of what happens on that. All right, so let's get back into this. This is what we were.
So
Go ahead.
when they scan that QR code you have, did you hear about your neighbor and they scan it? Can you capture their information from just a scan, or must they enter it in?
I think they have to enter their in. I
Okay.
don't think they're that capable of doing that one yet, which would be really cool.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, but yeah, it does log that. But I agree. The texting this information to that information on those signs we talked about 2 weeks ago, that actually triggers a text to me, but I don't think they're at that technology yet on the buy-in. So, all right, so let's go back into the presentation when we were discussing the what to do when you get to the table and you go to the house and you want to meet with them. So this is really critical. Obviously being on time. In some cases, I had a little old lady yesterday that, again, we've shared this. I said, like, I have, it's just going to only take an hour. So, but she literally walked out to my car. Oh, it's not raining that much. And I'm getting drenched. And she's showing me her front yard and standing by my car and kind of like, okay, I got to go. I'm getting drenched and you're getting drenched, but she didn't care. We were just having a nice time. But what I want to share with you though, is that, you know, occasionally if your car is superbly dirty, that maybe you might want to have it clean, because they might walk out to your car with you. And I had comments one time that says, "Oh, Eric, you need a car wash," so it's like, oh yeah, I was just out, showing some properties in the country. So you want to look professional, you want to feel professional, you want to be confident. So that's important. So remember, we secured the appointment. Those people weren't here last week. We've secured the appointment. We've actually gave them our total videos of our pre-listing, our buyers, our marketing guide that I left. Where'd I go? So she'll have to get that for me in just a moment. I think it's on the machine in the back. So buyer's guide, your sellers, your marketing, you want them to watch the video, you send them all those videos, and then you arrive at the house. So I want you guys to realize that you guys need to take kind of control. You probably, those who have been doing this a long time, is you get there and they go, you shake their hand, and you look them in their eyes, make sure you know their names, call it by name, and then they go, or, well, where do you want to start? And then if they take control of the conversation, well, let me go show you around. Let me go this way and let me show you that. And all of a sudden you kind of lost that rapport building opportunity to sit there with them at a table. So immediately when I walk in, and I kind of share that before, the day before, whenever we talk before, saying, okay, that's great. I just want to let you know there's 3 phases to my presentation. It will take about an hour tomorrow, unless you have additional questions. We'll start by sitting at the dining room table or a kitchen table, and then we will, as soon as we'll just discuss, go over a little bit of information. Then we'll actually take a tour of your home, which lasts about maybe another 15 or so minutes, and then we'll return back to the dining room table call, and then we'll discuss strategy, pricing, and strategy and pricing is what we do. Okay, so so I've already told Mark what we're going to do. Mark knows I only have an hour. Mark knows that we're going to the dining room table first, or then I go there. Can you go get this? Did I leave it in the little thingy? Thanks. And so I've set the expectation, because that's all about real estate, is relationships and setting the expectation. So there I'm building rapport. So before we go, I'm going to show you what I take. I take a folder that we take, actually a folder that I have a stapled card to it. I take a listing agreement with me at all times, because you never want, even though, like yesterday, I did know yesterday, I shouldn't say all times, but I knew yesterday she was not going to sell her house because she wasn't ready yet. So I just went there to go meet, because it was the second time that I met her. But if you are going to that listing presentation, you better be taking a listing agreement with you. I do 2 copies. This is what I do. I have 1 copy that is not dual-sided, because it just confuses the heck out of me if I used to get a dual. And the other one is back to back. And I staple that, or Teresa staples that one. And that one actually goes to the client, which then I already have it signed. I signed my signature on their copy. So the only thing that's in there that's missing is the price. That's everything else is boilerplated to my transaction coordination fee that I'm going to charge them, to the 6-month listings in there, addresses in there, everything's in there except the price. My compensation of 3% is already in there. I don't sit there and say, Mark, what do you want to do for compensation? Oh, I have a choice? Of course you have a choice, but I don't want to have that conversation. It will come up, but I basically just already have it in there. So, it's 3%. So what I do is I bring, as we discussed before on the marketing, this is the video that I did, but this is the marketing one that I want to take this just in case they did not watch the video. And I totally had this with me the other day. And he goes, so how are you going to be different, and how are you going to sell my house? Did you get a chance to watch the video? No, I didn't get a chance to watch the video. Well, when you get a chance, please make sure you go back and do that. But since I have this is a video, this is a print format of what we're going to discuss on my video. So I kind of go through this, and I kind of show and share what I have on the marketing. So I have this one. Rarely do I need to bring this up. I just have it as a backup, but rarely do I need to. I literally have taken the same one probably for 10 listing appointments, and then I might give it to somebody because they didn't watch the video. Then I come back and print one and just have one ready. I have the market analysis. Okay. So I have it behind plastic. And as I shared before, I actually have different templates here, of one with this is just a nice looking one that's not over fancy. And I have a more fancy one for the $1 million listings. And this basically just goes in, talks about, and we've actually get this on Cloud CMA of those who are new. It has I start with and it has a little bit of information about what a CMA, a little bit more information about me, our company and stuff. And then it has the 1 page. I start with the active ones first, because a lot of times when you, as an agent, when I go in and I say, hey, Mark, did the person who, I know you had met an agent right before me, did they go over numbers with you? I always politely ask that, because if they say, oh yeah, we went over numbers. So I go, okay, great. I don't want to be redundant, but I'm just going to let you know kind of where I feel that there are, but I just wanted to make sure that I don't want to spin your wheels or whatever. But at the same time, if he didn't go over the numbers, then I want to spend a little bit more time on that. But I always going to walk out of that house with giving them a price, because if I go into that house and Mark says, yeah, the other agent didn't even give me a price, didn't even go over numbers, they said they'd get back to me. When they tell me from my education and my experience, that means that the person wants way too much money for their house, and the agent just didn't want to tell them that the value, that it's only worth 300,000 when he wanted $1 million. So I start with the active homes first, and I'll go through, and now they're going to be about a $50,000 swing here. I've already looked at Zillow. I already see what kind of Zillow has. I've already looked at the MLS to see what they paid for it, to see what if there were any internal pictures of it. So I do ask that before I go. I say, is there any big improvements and stuff that you guys have done since you guys have owned the property? And then that way, if they say, yep, the roof is done, the air conditioning, that's new. So then when I get there at the house, I'm reiterating those items and discussing, oh, I'm so glad that you got that new roof, because you want them to see and understand that you're listening. And it all comes down to listening. Yesterday with my little old lady, I might have said, uh-huh, Oh yeah, I totally agree. Like probably about 500 times, and the rest of it was just her talking. Okay, she just talked and talked and talked, and she loved it. That's why she wanted almost got in my car and just started leaving with me. So it was quite fun. Then I go with the pending sales, and then I go with the sold sales, and then I actually then this cloud CMA puts this all together. Then I end with that right there. See that little cute little picture right there? No, so nice. Yes, Jess, that was you. All right, so then I end with my vendor list. You know, that one's always there. I do actually typically have this vendor list kind of at the very end upside down so they see it on this side. So I have my vendor list here, and then they can see me on this side. So I take this, I take a copy of the MLS printout, is what I do. So then when they tell me, your square footage is wrong. Or they say, well, I have 17 bedrooms, and why do you only have 3 on the Cloud CMA? Because I said, oh, well, let me just check. And I do go over this with them. I said, just want to check and confirm that, you know, that you have 1,539 square feet. And this is at the second table back here when we return. And so I just have this and say, oh, you know what? This just pulled from the county records. We'll have to look into that. Was there anything that you did or you added on that maybe the county doesn't have? So I have that as a backup. I do take my, you know, my magazine that we print out for that, just say your house will be advertised in this. I take a property fact, and I'll drop this all in the drive, because this for those who just entered, if you just take a picture of this drive, then this a lot of this stuff is in there, so you can actually have. And again, I update this stuff regularly. All right, so yes, let me put that back. I want to update it, and Teresa updates regularly because so I'll give her all the credit. Okay. All right. So I give a property facts because Teresa goes, can you please fill this out? Because I just scribble everywhere. Okay. A lot of you, my old school.
You say
I know.
it's on the back of
It's
one
on
of
the back of it's on the back of one of the pages, is what I tell her. So I used to just on the ML or on the tax record, I would literally just scribble it all in the back. Now this looks a little bit more professional, that it actually has, I have their opportunity for me to help Teresa put the address and the owner's information, get all of the phone numbers, get all the emails, and it just goes through like, and I have this conversation as I'm sitting there in the very beginning. So let me just share when I'll go in that, but I'll go that in just a moment. But I'm going over this kind of in the very beginning is what I'm doing. I might catch some of this as we're doing the walkthrough tour, but our biggest ones, Mark, what are they up here? It's insurance, right? I mean, it's like, what's your insurance and what do you have as your internet? You know, those are the biggest ones. Septic, pumping, know your area. Don't go in there into Lake of the Pines and say, all right, so tell me about your septic system. When's the last time you pumped it? Eric, we don't have septics here in Lake of the Pines. So you just need to know that so you don't kind of step into something. And sometimes if you're walking around and you see, oh, they have natural gas here. You saw the natural gas on the side of the house. So I'm looking for those type of things. And because sometimes going up Banner in Nevada City, we didn't realize they had natural gas in certain places, and sometimes they do. Carbon monoxides, I'm looking for those. I'm looking for straps, and I'm just gathering information and filling that out. So before we take the tour, I am going over this a little bit when I say, could, you know, is there any other different questions you have for me in, you know, regards to something, and they say, yes, this, and we talk about it. And I say, well, I have a few questions for you. Do you mind? And I'm going to say, do you mind if I take notes? And I'm going to write this down. So I take this back with me. I have a getting your home ready, you know, piece of paper, because what do the people want to know? When you go to the first time, they want to know, what do I need to do to get my house ready for sale? So I actually leave this with them. I take 2 copies of this, or I take 1 copy if I don't have the 2, and I just take a picture of it so I have it for my record. I prepare, you know, property A, B, and C list. What's my goal? I try to get a photography date and say, okay, when do you think that you'll be ready for pictures? I'm doing this before I'm even have a signed listing agreement. You know, I tell them about the upfront disclosures and when they're going to be coming, you know, as we work together and get the house on the market. This is what we do. All right. So you can go to marketing and get these too, because marketing will create these for you as well. But I actually have a 30-day plan of a get your, you know, carefree move starts here. And so every single day, it actually gives like day 1, day 10, day 30. So I'm going to customize this a little bit more because now I'm thinking, well, why do I have a picture of this couple moving their furniture? So I'm literally going to be taking pictures with my grandkids, taking pictures of me and Shannon and I lifting up the a couch together. So it's going to be us kind of customizing so they see that I relate to them, because I haven't moved for 30 years, you guys. So I can't really relate to them a lot. Woohoo! So But, so it gives them a 30-day like moving. So I'd like to want you to know, here's a 30-day checklist that I want you to go through, that it gives you the start. There is going to be a new QR code that we discussed this morning that we're going to add on here, that I'm going to go through my house and kind of share a little bit so I can relate to them that, hey guys, it's really hard to move. And I'm going to show them what a closet looks like and pack some stuff back there. Just a little cute little video. So it gives you the things that you actually could do. Now, did I create all of this? No, I ripped this off from somebody else that I got. So again, do the same, take it, go with it. I give them a carefree move. Again, this is another one. This is a checklist right here that actually goes through and talks about moving with children, okay? And moving with kids, because you should see my new kids program that I have. It's super cute. I'm going to show that when I get it. Actually, I'm having it illustrated and drawn right out right now. Moving with pets. So you're actually moving, because people might go, well, how do I move with pets? So it gives a whole blurb about here and checklist about moving with pets and moving with plants, and a little checklist of what to do with their plants. So this all goes inside my kit, and I present and I bring all of this with me so that I'm completely prepared to sell their house when I get there. So going back, any questions on that? Anything else that you guys bring to a listing presentation that you could add that would be helpful for someone?
I haven't done it, but I saw someone, oh, maybe it was Jody, Prince labels for boxes.
I love that. Yes. So yes, 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 yes. So if you guys want to, and I know title companies will occasionally bring you some labels that say living room. I generally tell people this is really cool. There was an app that I can't remember what it was offhand, but there's some really cool apps with QR codes that you actually can go into them, and you print the QR code on your computer. You go put that on the box or put that on the crate, whatever that you're doing. And then you actually can put on your app and scan the QR code, type in what you actually put in that box, hit save. So that way, if you've got 25 boxes and they're all stacked in the garage, you could just go, instead of opening them all looking for your spatula, you can actually just go to the QR code, QR code. So I do share the high technology on that, but yes, labels are good and important. And so you can, sometimes I've actually sent some boxes that you can ship, because Client Giant does allow that, and they have that in there. It's a little more expensive than just going and doing them yourself, but you can drop off boxes. I've dropped off boxes from, just keep an eye. I've had a trailer in my driveway that somebody says, hey, I've got a bunch of boxes. I came by and picked them up. And then about a month later, guess what? I had a seller that was leaving that needed the boxes, and I just took them all there. So just being extra helpful to show that's what I'm doing. That's what you want, because we're doing an estate sale that started 25 minutes ago that has really cool stuff if you guys want to go on Tina Court. But the lady told my wife last night, I just absolutely love your husband. I wish he was in Texas, because we're selling the dad's home. I wish he was in Texas, because I would love him to be my realtor over there. He's so nice. He's not pushy. And I'm doing all this basically for free. We're just doing, and I've got my gals there doing estate sales just to do them, because I want to earn their business, which we did. All right, so I sit at the table. I remind the coach to have a few moments we can chat at the table. Now, maybe sometimes it's been 2 days, 3 days, 4 days since Mark called me, and I might, and I do confirm the appointment. I said, just want to remind you that we just want to make sure we're still up for today at 2 o'clock. It gets a little dicey sometimes on that, because maybe they're like going, well, maybe I don't really want to meet with Eric at 2 today. So that gives them excuse to say no. So most of the time I just kind of, unless I have a weird feeling that, like yesterday, that needed a check because she already canceled on me the week earlier, I confirmed. And so she again said, why don't we do it next week? I said, great, fine. So at that time I sit there. I want to make sure all the decision makers are there too, because I didn't get a listing, recently, because I only met with one of the siblings of the deceased family member. And the other decision maker, I was not there. And so I did not get that one. The one in Fair Oaks, they were all sitting there, every single one of them, the 4 siblings, and I closed it, we signed it, and we walked out with the listing. So I sit there and I say, Mark, I know it's been about 4 days since we spoke and set this appointment up. Is there any changes? Because I know you mentioned that you're thinking about moving to Oregon. Is there been any changes in regards to your situation? So then I listen. And I say, Mark, the deal is I need to know where you're going. So my questions are, where are you headed? I know we talked about the Oregon before, but let's give me a little bit more information about that. Maybe I talked to the husband, but maybe Mark's wife's there, and maybe because don't you think Mark's wife's going to have an opinion, on something? Yes. So I want to, yes, see Mark saying yes. So I want to hear from Mark's wife and say, well, where are you at? Because I know there's a Teresa and I have a mutual friend that the husband wants to sell like ASAP, and the wife does not want to, and it's causing friction on that. So it's like, how do I go to the corner of the wife and say, all right, or do I go to the corner of the house? You got to be just all neutral is what you got to be. It's when they come. Often I use the line and I say something like this: "Hey guys, this is your party. Of course, if it's a death or something, I'm not going to say party, but if it's something of a husband and wife that are moving, then I'm going to say, hey guys, this is your party. This is like, you guys need to invite who you want to and when you want to. And basically, you guys are in charge." Because a lot of times people think that the salesperson comes into their house, they're going to say, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. And I go the whole different opposite direction. I listen. I want to know where they're at. I might say, Mark, look, I don't, my job is not to make you homeless. So I need to know where you're going so I can put everything in place to be able to make sure that all happens seamlessly. And you will find several times where people might say, well, I'm actually want to move just down the hill a little bit in our, like, from Grass Valley to Auburn. So, oh, well, I can help you with that. Oh, really? I didn't know you could help me with that. So if I didn't have that conversation, they would all of a sudden be in contract with some agent in Auburn or buyer agreement signed that I wasn't there. So I want to know the whole thing. Then I explain to them a little bit. Okay, if you're going to move here locally, this is what's going to happen. If you're going to move to Oregon, I just did this with somebody that moved to Oregon. I just did that last month. We just did that. If you haven't sold a house yet, you can say, because that our agents in our office have done something like that. So let me orchestrate that and work that together. Oh, you already have a real estate agent up in Oregon? Great. Oh, you don't have one, Mark? You know what? That's a great area. I had another client recently that actually moved that area. They had a great agent. Let me find them for you. Oh, that would be so awesome. Now you get a referral. So you're being smart about kind of what you're doing there, and you tie those people together. If they say they have a real estate agent, you say, great, I will need to know their name. Do you guys happen to have that right now? Oh yeah, I've got it on my phone. Then I write that down. There's commitment there. You see that? They're already giving me things that I'm going to need. So when I go to my close, they've already felt like they've given me enough information, because I will say it'll be really critical for you, Mark, that I need to talk to Jessica up in Oregon because about the move and the dates and the timing, because I just created and we got into contract a couple days ago with a house that there's 3 houses in front of ours that are all domino affecting and closing. So I actually told the agent, I said, you know what, I'm going to write an offer. We should look at having maybe 3 days of occupancy, because there's no way that all 3 of those houses are going to be able to close all in that 2-day period, and everybody's got to move at the same time. It's not going to happen. So she goes, oh, that's a really good idea, because I've had issues with that before, where I've got my seller parked at their house and they can't leave because the house down the street, the seller takes a domino effect. So you just need to build and understand that. So I'm sharing these experiences all in a nice positive way. I'm asking questions about their house, anything else that they've done that they've done recently on the big improvements. Say, great, I love to go. And so at that point, let's see, CSV. Thank you. Happy to do that. Sorry to speak early, but all right. So what I want to do is I want to like do a soft close right here. I say that's fantastic. I feel, I will come into a lot of homes, and I love, just from what I'm just glancing at right now around the room, that I love all your furnishings and your placements and your clean. There's not every home that I come in and I actually want to sell their house, or don't take every listing that I come. I feel that from what I'm meeting you and the rapport that we have and the house that I'm seeing, this looks like something that I would be interested in going to the next step and taking the tour. Do you feel the same? What did I just do there? I just did a soft close. Do you feel the same, that I feel like I have good rapport with you? Do you feel the same? And if they say, yeah, I feel pretty good about this. Let's go take the tour. I said, great. And do you mind if I take my notebook? Because I will take some notes as I'm walking through. Now, you will realize and understand that if you point out things to them before they point out things, it goes a long ways. And I got a listing because they said you were so observant, and I chose you because you were noticing things in my house that the other agent just didn't notice or didn't say anything. That agent probably noticed them, but they didn't say anything. I am a very honest, and I'm telling them, guys, I'm going to be real honest with you. I'm going to give you the A, B, and list of what to do and not to do. If I feel that your house is too cluttered, or I feel that you need to paint a wall, I'm going to let you know, because a lot of times, we live in our houses, you've lived here and I know the information. I say, Mark, you've been in the house for 15 years. So I know that a lot of times we just get used to kind of what is around our home. And that was why you wanted to have me come earlier, because I know you're thinking of listing in about 30 days or so. I'm reminding them our conversation. So I just want them to know I'm going to be just real honest with you. So if I see a super ugly thing, or I just say we got to get rid of this. We can't have this couch here, guys. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's, if we're going to sell our house for top dollar, you have to say it in a nice, polite way. But the things I'm pointing out are these: whole house fans, central vac systems. Things that I'm noticing as I'm walking through the home, because you want to know on the central vac system, because years ago we had an agent in here that bought a central vac system for a buyer because they put in the MLS, they had a central vac system, which they saw all the cute little things around the rooms, but what they didn't realize is the unit was not there. So you need to realize that when I see, oh, you have a central vac system, is it completely plumbed in, or do you have the unit? Oh, we use it all the time. Where are the hoses? Oh, they're in this closet. Okay, great. Those will need to stay. So I'm letting them know, because I've had hoses disappear, and Mark's been doing this a long time too, that the movers just start throwing things in the truck and the hoses disappear. So I don't want that. And so I'm walking around, I'm going room to room, and as I'm going through, I've got my checklist, and I'm writing things down. And so I'm saying, okay, we got to fix this. Oh, this crack in the sheetrock, how long's that been settled? Oh, that's been there since we moved in. Okay. I'd kind of recommend on that one, we probably will have my sheetrock guy come in and kind of, not that we're hiding it, covering up, it just will be an issue, but we'll disclose to people. But I could see people having an issue with this giant crack that's going across. Now, keep in mind, if it's usually, you guys all know what I'm saying, of talking about cracks, but if this is a little bigger than usual, I want to like fix it, take it, especially if the seller already tells me that they have a little bit of extra money and they want to. I'll move furnishings. I'll say, you've got 4 rocker chairs in this living room, and you only have 2 of you. Why do you need 4 of them? And I said, these 2, which I said, which are your 2 favorite? This one, this one. Okay, these other 2, they got to go. And I said, well, where are we going to put them? I said, well, are you going to move them to Oregon? No, we don't want them. Let's get rid of them. Let's right now. My seller, who we just listed this last week, he told me like 60 something boxes went to storage, then because I gave him the list. This is what we got to do. You got to declutter. I know you got a lot of collectible stuff here. You got to declutter. I want things moved. I want things off the lower shelves, because you're gonna have kids coming through the house. I don't want anything breakable. I worry your guns. I know, if I see an open gun in the hallway, I go, we got to get the guns out of the hallway, or things, or like the one in Grass Valley, they had 4 deer, I don't know, all over the wall, and animals stuffed everywhere. I know. Leave them be. I knew she was going to ask comment about that. All right. So the deal is that some buyers just don't want that. And I literally had a house that was like the deer room or the animal room, and it was this family room that had probably 50 of them all over the place. And I said, hey, this is kind of cool for you. This is nice, but you get somebody that comes in that loves animals, you just lost the buyer. So it was there. You got to pack them anyway. Can we move them? Can we get them out? What can we do? So you're kind of sharing ideas of going off history on those and kind of talking about this. And just kind of helping them through that. So then you're noticing that, writing down notes, listen to them. Please, I want you to share I know you mentioned that you did redid the primary bathroom. Please, let's go check it out and show me what you did in there. Let them share, let them go, oh, this is what we did. Oh, this is great. Oh, I love that. And just take notes. And then you come back to the table, and I'm going to write down, I'm writing down, I got my prepare your property for sale. I'll tell them to move different furnishings, pack this up, pack that up as I'm going, but I'm jotting down the note too. So I leave this with them. So then we go, okay, great. This is awesome. You guys have a beautiful home. There are a few things that we need to do, which I just wrote down. I'm going to leave this piece of paper with you. Are you guys good? And feel like, let's go ahead and return back to the table. Oh, I found, sounds great. Let's do it. So then I go back to the table. And now this is where I am sharing with them, my houses and the strategy about where I feel that their house is. Keep in mind, I have about a 50, maybe a $60,000 swing here. Once in a while, you get burned by don't have high enough comparables in my thing. And one time I didn't even bring this out. I just said, you know what, your house is really beautiful. The MLS and stuff, and you maybe I forgot to ask, but I didn't realize that you added 5,000 square feet or added the guest house or added that. So I don't quite have. I just want to share with you. You're at the very high end here, but I think I can get you more money. So I will put something together and I'll email that to you here shortly when I get back to the office. But generally, I'm a $50,000 swing. Like this one here is from 439 to 500. And I go through and I said, okay, and I take a pen. If all of a sudden I realize, and this one's a lot smaller, and I'm sitting in a home that they remodeled it and much nicer, I literally would take a pen and say, okay, the first one I want to show you is 430, but please whoosh, draw a line through it. I'm not comparing your house to this one because I just want to share that that one right there was smaller, a little smaller, but it was not remodeled as yours. I want them to know right away that when they go to look at this tomorrow or the next day and they go, he compared my house to a $430,000 house when my house is worth 500,000. So I draw a line right through it. And I say, okay, and I'll say, okay, now we're getting a little bit closer. Can you see that this one has a remodeled kitchen? And I'm showing this to them. I want them to look at this. I want them to see and have buy-in. Oh yeah, that's really nice. Or no, that's a horrible kitchen. Mine's so much nicer than that. And I go, okay. And some of you guys are in neighborhoods that are cookie cutter neighborhoods that are like super easy to compare. I mean, it's like you're within a dollar because it's so nice. And I say, then I'll just show, okay, now look at this one. This one really fits. I really like this sold one. Again, Mr. Mark, you can realize that anybody can put it whatever they want on their home, listed their house for sale. But I actually like to look at what is actually pending, and most of the time want to look and compare what is sold that we can actually get a comparison because buyers know and understand this, and they're going to want to see, and they know what Zillow and the house is recently sold for. So they're going to come, they're smart. They're not going to come in and buy something overpriced. So I share that with them, and I just hold this book and it's sitting there on the table. Get good at reading upside down. Okay, because you need to read upside down. And then you just say, so after looking at these sold comparables, where do you feel that your house would kind of fit in this range? Because as most agents, we want to know where the seller is kind of feeling that they want to be. Are we at $1 million? Are we at 500? Everybody wants more. And I'll probably share, things like that, this as well, that even my house, I feel that my house is worth way more than my Zillow's estimate. And I'll share that if they bring that up. Every seller does because it's your own personal house and you have memories in here. So you got to separate the memories, and it's a business transaction of what the walls and what you actually have. So if the seller goes, well, and they flip through it, well, I kind of feel that we're probably kind of in this range right around in here. So then I just got some buy-in right there that they're feeling that we're at the 479 to $500,000 buy-in. And I go, yeah, you're correct. I agree with you on that. And I say, well, yeah, I agree with you on this, but maybe you're probably because of that your kitchen's not remodeled and this particular one is, we might be a little bit lower than that. But certainly since you, and always comment on other things, but since you have the 3-car garage, that might offset that, or because you have that spectacular backyard or that view. So always give positive things that you're talking about. So you're not always going, your house is worth less, your house is worth less. That's not going to go really well. So you want to kind of like share the good and positive things with that. And so then I would just say, okay, I feel that, in today's market, because yesterday she's not planning on selling for a while. I say, if today's market, I would list your house in this particular example was like around the 550 range because of all the amenities that you have in your home. Is that something that, that you kind of felt that was the price range before I came that you were thinking of? Yeah, I was kind of thinking we could probably get a little bit more, is usually what the answer is. Or they might say, wow, that was more. It's rarely that I think Mark, I keep picking on Mark because he's probably been doing that longer than most people in this group, but he's the first person I see. And Mark goes, well, I kind of, that was a lot more than I thought. It's like, okay, well, I guess maybe we should have come in a little bit lower. We could have sold it better. But so I never, never, never tell somebody a higher number because I want the listing. And I've lost more listings because I didn't. And I just saw one the other day doing a comparison CMA, and I went, oh, well, there's this person who called me about their listing, but I had no clue that they were going to get $576,000 on 1.27 acres at 1,200 square feet. Wouldn't even have thought and dreamt that somebody would have bought that at that price. So I said, I just don't think you're going to get it. Well, when I said those words, what'd they do? They went and listed with somebody who gave them the number. So occasionally you do get burned, that you see that, there is that opportunity. So if I say and Mark says, well, can we try it can we try it using this example, can we try it 479? I said, Mark, I really feel we're closer to that 450 mark. So if we could maybe kind of maybe meet somewhere in the middle on that, because I think we need to have maybe a 459, because at least you got a 50 in there. That might be better, but just want to share with you that, if we get this on the market and we don't get that instant people and population of people wanting to come see it, we may need to do an adjustment kind of quicker than later so we don't have a lot of days on market. Because remember in the video that I shared with you is that at the longer days on market, the buyer is going to give you less money. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, I rather have the market chase you than you chase the market. That's a very critical one that I use all the time. And so I kind of share that. Mark goes, okay, well, yeah, it's less than I wanted, but let's go 459. Now, at the same time, if you were super prepared, you kind of understand kind of what the dollar amount. You could throw a quick 6% and to say, well, what am I going to get out of this? Well, generally, if I just take 6% of the $450,000, take that off the price, because most likely you're going to be being asked to pay some compensation on the other side, and then half a title in escrow, and your septic system needs to be pumped. That should cover, and that leaves a couple $1,000s of miscellaneous things that that might be a repair that we saw with the dry rot and things of that nature. Now, if I'm going around and I see dry rot and stuff on the house, I say, my contractor can fix this. I've got my sheetrock guy can actually take care of this. So I'm helping them understand and then getting that anxiety out that I have people that can help them with that. So I'm sharing that with them, and Mark goes, okay, all right, let's do let's do 459 and let's go with that. All right, that's great. But at that price, Mark, let me remind you that you have to do everything that we kind of discussed on this list, because how many times do we actually go back to the house to get it on the market with our photographer and nothing's been done? A lot. And now all of a sudden you've got an overpriced listing that is messy and dirty. They never cleaned anything. They never painted whatever they needed to do. Oh, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that during, I'll start working on that today. Let's just get this on the market. A month later, still not done. So it just kind of happens. And so you're looking for those sellers who are on the same page with you and good to go. I shared this with you guys the other day that my seller has a nice big shop, and I said our price is at the 725, but you got a $150,000 shop, so we're going to go to 825. But if we can't find the buyer for that shop, we're going to have to start reducing the property and getting down into where the other comparables are closer to 725. So and I'm setting that expectation so they don't just feel like, well, Eric, you chose this price, because not sometimes, all the times that sellers and buyers sometimes have amnesia. So the seller, well, you gave me that price. Well, do you remember when, Mark, that I told you that it needed to be kind of the 450 and under kind of price point, and you wanted to go a little bit higher? I had somebody actually say that the other day. I said, well, I know, Eric, you told me before that it needed to be lower, so we'll go ahead and do the adjustment right now. But now we're 60 days on the market, which hurts us. So that's kind of what we do. So as you're sitting there at the closing table, let me share these things, because what do we okay, actually, if you don't get the listing right away, and let be like yesterday, the lady isn't ready, I'm sending her a handwritten card. I'm doing a video email. I might send them the estimated closing statement from title, getting a direct one. So yeah, I'm giving something extra to them if they are truly looking and interviewing agents. Well, we have one more agent that we want to interview beforehand. I've done this strategy before and go, look, you just spent an hour with me, even an hour and 10 minutes. I'll look at my watch and I'll say, are you happy with my marketing approach? Yes. Are you happy with, or do you feel like we have good rapport that I could get the house, get this done and get you where you need to be? Yes. Are you happy with the price that we actually, came up with? Yes. Do you really want to do this again for another hour and a half tomorrow with this other particular agent? Not really. So why don't we just go ahead and get signed? And that's probably as pushy as I'm going to ever be, because I'm not pushy. But at that point, if I would have left that appointment and he was happy with me, he wouldn't have not have called me back the next day. And you can just kind of tell this over time, because he would have been just as happy with the other agent that was coming, because they were sitting in front of them. Well, I don't, that's why sometimes being last is good, but but I kind of want to get that signed. So he signed with me, and we went off, and I even said, do you want me to call the agent? He goes, no, I'll do it, because I knew who she was. So, which would have been not a good conversation. I'd rather had him do it. So I'm just letting you know, you'll go on Facebook, get them on a friend, get them in your CRM system, offer all the servicing people as I shared there on the back of my books, have the pre-scheduled call, because if you leave and say, okay, it's like, no, I really feel obligated to meet this other person. I'm super happy with you as well. You're great. Because we did lose a listing recently that he had one more person, but that other person was I think the person that sold him the house. So obviously I didn't get that one, but I said, okay, what do you, when would you like me to follow? Would it be okay if I follow you? Let's say your appointment's tomorrow. Do you want me to follow you up tomorrow by 6 o'clock? Oh yeah, sure, please. That would be great. So I'm following up with them. Okay. So we just want to have something set there for you. But too often, as we close up the session here, too often we say, we just don't have the confidence to close. Too often we say, okay, great. You have any questions? Hour's up. And do you have any questions? Or all right, what do you think? Or okay, well, it's good to meet you. I'll touch base with you next week, and thank you very much. But I didn't really ask for the business. So if you don't ask for it, you're not going to get a lot of it. And so learn the techniques and learn the strategies to be able to do this. Like here's one that said, based on everything we discussed, are you ready to list your home with me? Are you ready to move forward? When would you like to move forward and get things started? This is a good one. And say, well, I'm good with getting things going today. I'm not really ready to put my house on the market tomorrow. Or I said, oh, absolutely not, because you still have to get this list done. You still have to go through all this checklist that I've given you as well. But so what we can do, though, just to get the paperwork out of the way, we can actually sign now, since I'm here and I actually brought it with me, and we can actually get that out of the way. So then when you say, Eric, come take photos, then we don't have to worry about all the paperwork. And that way, because it's going to be kind of stressful at that moment for you as well. And I'm going to, whatever. So then I get them, they go, yeah, since you're here, let's just go ahead and get the paper signed. And now I'll ask twice. If they go, well, I don't know if I'm quite ready yet to sign papers, then I'll go into some other thing. Because you can have I know we've talked a lot about a lot of stuff, Mark. So was there something else that you needed to have an answer, a question answered, that while I'm here, I can answer that? Or I know that you met with those two other people or you're going to meet with somebody tomorrow. I'm sure that might trigger some additional questions. When I call you tomorrow at 6, you can ask me those questions as well. So if they ask and I, go, well, I'm not quite ready, I might build a little bit of those questions, and then I say, well, all right, that's great. Would you like to, sign paperwork today? And if they say no again, then I'm going to just not push that. And I'm going to go, okay, I'll give you a call tomorrow at 6 o'clock. But I'm kind of trying to find out why they're not wanting to sign the paperwork right then and there. And so you're having those little deeper kind of questions. It's not yes and no, but just, can be assumptive closes. Let's schedule our first professional photography. What date is good for you? How long do you think that you might be able to get these, all the fixes done? Well, it'd probably take about a week. Okay, so let's schedule for 2 weeks or a week to be able to come and take the photography. I look at the date. Looks like that I've got an opening. Looks like that there's good weather that time as well. I'm confident we can achieve your goals. Are you ready? You're ready to see those results. Decision forcing questions. Would you prefer to start the listing process next week or the week after? I mean, these are just questions that you can just have. You want to make eye contact, speak confidently, assume they want to work with you. There's a part where it gets too much, so you don't want to go too hard, because you got to earn their trust and their rapport and their business first before I walk into Mark. And the first thing I do is shake his hand. I'm here to sell your house. I can't wait to put this on the market. And that person, Mark, immediately went, whoa, I don't even met you yet. Let's just go over this first. So don't go too quickly. But just don't assume, but just assume like, oh, when we put this on the market, I'll get this taken care of. I can get this. And then they'll all start saying, well, when we sell with you, Eric, when we do this with you, Eric, and it's nice. You get that build rapport. Have that listing agreement ready, be prepared to address the final concerns, and just that is where we're at. And a follow-up, because sometimes those agents who have been doing this a long time, is that you're just going in the first, you're cultivating your listing. And sometimes these listings and these listing leads that you have are 1 month, 6 month, 3 month, a year down the road. So it's keeping the market updates, giving the market updates, showing them the comparables. This is what's happening in the market. We only have 5 homes on the market. I did this 3 times with 3 people yesterday. They all said, thank you very much for keeping us up at the speed on what's going on with the market. And there's just follow-up questions and stuff. All right. Anything that you guys have questions about, because we're coming to the end here on what to do and my philosophy when I meet with sellers at the table. Any questions or additions?
The struggle for me is you show them the comps. I went on a listing appointment